today I decided to be a little bit creative, and you know, cooking in the kitchen is all creativity. So I'm combining a couple of recipes together, kind of. I was inspired by a potato dish, and then I love spanakopita, and I decided to do a vegetarian dish that includes both those items. So what I have here is grated potatoes, 5 of them, about 2.5 pounds of potatoes that I peeled, and I grated them in my food processor. If you don't have that, you can grate them on a thick grater. And a couple of carrots. I am soaking them with water so they continue to be fresh, and the water actually gets soaked into the potato and helps it cook better when we put it in the oven later. Okay, so this recipe has 2 parts. It's very simple and it's easy to do. Part 1 is the potatoes, about 2.5 pounds of potatoes peeled and grated with a couple of carrots. And the carrots, I added them because they add a little sweetness, pleasant sweetness, and also it keeps the starch from the potatoes separated, so we don't have too dense of a dish. It keeps it much lighter. So for that, I will need to add 3 eggs, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of milk, which is, I measured this container here, and that measures 3 tablespoons. Okay, I will add the milk, and I will add the olive oil, and I also have 1 tablespoon of flour. Let me crack the eggs first. Mix them a little bit. And then add the flour, and that's gonna be the binding that will bind the potatoes and carrots together and make them as a base and a top for our dish. So after you bind them, add a little bit salt and pepper. A little bit paprika for the color and slight taste. Okay, mix again. And this we will pour over the potatoes that are here. And just make sure to mix them well together. And this is done. Now we'll go for part 2. Okay, so now it's part 2 of this recipe, which is the filling. I have here 1 pound of spinach. It is this bag, which I have thawed overnight in a strainer, and then I squeezed the spinach so I can get rid of all the liquid. Into this, I will be adding a bunch of dill, fresh dill. Roughly chop the dill. It doesn't have to be too fine. We add that into the spinach. Parsley. It goes into the spinach. And now into that, I will add about 4 or 5 green onions, depending on the size of yours. I have a big one, so I'm gonna do 4 of them. Now those go into that as well. Now I will add a little bit of black pepper. The salt I will add at the end because we will be adding feta cheese in it, and feta cheese tend to be salty, so we'll adjust the salt after we add the feta cheese. I like my food to be spicy, so I'm gonna add also some red pepper flakes. You don't have to do that, that's optional, but we like it, so I'm gonna do that. Into this, I will also add some lemon juice, about 2 tablespoons, 1, 2, and some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now we'll mix it. At this point, I will add some feta, about 1/3 of a cup. From the looks, you can decide if you need to put more feta or that should be enough. To combine things together, I have pre-buttered this Pyrex pan. I will put half of this into the pan. Okay. On top of this, I will put the filling. And we will cover this with the rest of the potatoes. I will make sure that everything is even and nice. And for the finale, I will add more feta on top to cover the potatoes, and some of any melting cheese that you like. You can use mozzarella, but I decided to use the Quesso fresco, and I wanted to use this to show you a trick. I put it in the freezer overnight, and when you do that, then it is very easy to crumble it. Like if I cut the cheese, I don't need to grate it even. It crumbles pretty easy because it was in the freezer. So I put about 80 grams of Queso, and I will add the feta because the feta is the one that is pungent and flavorful, and it's gonna add a lot of interest in this dish. Put it in a preheated oven of about 400 degrees, 375 to 400 degrees. You want it to be high, and it's gonna take about 20 to 30 minutes depending on your oven. I'll let you exactly know how long it took as soon as I take it out of the oven. Okay, I have the dish out. Now just let me tell you what, if you have used mozzarella, which I was out of, you would have a more gooey end result. But I like this cheese, so I'm assuming it's gonna be good. It baked for about 25 minutes at 375 degrees. I'm just gonna make sure that the edges are not stuck into the walls of my dish here. The first part is the most difficult to take out, but it is fine. This will leave for later. This is how it looks. Very good. Delicious. So many different things are going on, but they all marry each other in a very perfect way. Really good, very good. What I would do actually, I will bake it a little bit longer for the potatoes to fall apart even more. They're cooked, but I like them to be more softer, even softer than this. So you can use 350 degrees for 40 minutes rather than 30 minutes at a higher temperature. And I'm sure your family is gonna really appreciate this dish. It is very, very good.